Okay, all right, we rolling. All right, so welcome to my channel. I'm Daniel Charles Williams, and this is my channel about my journey to full-time, becoming full-time on eBay, and I'm just gonna drop this video about my virtual assistant. So I shot a video a while ago, and I was talking about you know moving from whatever stage I was in, which wasn't even like a part-time stage, to a full-time stage. So just to give you a quick recap, yes, I'm saying I work a job. Obviously, you can see this is I'm at my job. I'm not at my home. I work a full-time job, and basically, or collectively, I work a full-time job and then some. So I have very little time to grow my business, but I'm still going to grow my business to the point where it really, the more I grow I'm hopefully the more I grow my eBay business, the less I have to work, which will in turn give me more time to spend on the business, and for it to duplicate itself, give me more time. I spend more time in it, it'll give me more time. So that is my goal. And I said I was going to try to drop videos once a week. I haven't did that, so I'm trying to see, just trying to work on my schedule and everything like that, so I can put more videos. So I came up with a strategy. I didn't come up with a strategy, but I implemented a strategy on getting a VA, virtual assistant, to help me list whenever I am not able to list, basically. So, and I'll give you a rundown on that process. All right. So process was to go to Upwork, which I did, find me a VA which was suitable for my price, and my budget is very small. So I had to figure that one out first of all. And I had a business before, um, which was a cleaning business, and I did use a VA to help me with some marketing, on, not Facebook, but on, but anyway, to do some online marketing for me. So I kind of had some experience with that. I never used Upwork before. I think it was something else, but I used like another site which was, um, not fully integrated like Upwork is. Upwork is fully integrated, payment, all that stuff, communication. Mine's wasn't that way. Mine's was not. It was all separate. I was Skyping outside, and I was paying outside of the site. It was all separate. It was a different monster, and that was many years ago. So now it's a little different. But just to throw some stuff out there, I think Upwork is too expensive. That's just my opinion. For virtual assistant, they're for their hourly wage, the minimum hourly wage. Once you go into Upwork, you'll find out the minimum hourly wage is $3 an hour. That's their minimum hourly wage. At least from my experience. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But when I went in and found my virtual assistant, I negotiated. Well, not negotiated. I discussed. I told them what I wanted to pay. Um, I told them what I wanted to pay. If you want the job, you want the job. If not, then you don't want the job. So it's just like that. So, but when I went to make that hourly wage, when I went to pay, when I went up to the payment portion, on the higher portion of the hiring section of Upwork, that minimum that I wanted to pay was not available. Their minimum monthly is $3. So I had to go into a fixed rate, um, payment option, just so I can get the price down to where I wanted it to be. Um, so again, in my opinion, $3 for a virtual assistant is too much money. I think it should be less. And I'm thinking about $2 an hour for a virtual assistant, um, for what I want. All right, for basically, you might as well just say like data entry. For data entry, I don't think it should charge that much money, just for data entry. And eBay listing to me is just data entry. That's all it is. You know, all you're doing is getting all the VA is getting from you is information, the images, the information, and what they're doing is taking that information and they putting it into a database. That's all they're doing. Um, to charge $3 an hour for that, to me, I think it's too high. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave that alone. If you feel like it's suitable, then let me know. You know, um, I'll argue back and forth with that. Um, so anyway, so my process was to get the VA, figure out my price. Um, so I got the VA, I figured out my price, and then I had to provide them with instructions on how to list. I gave them a training video at first, and then I gave them a flow, an operational documentation of the instructions, just what I mean, just worded so they can read it, and then also had steps within there within that documentation. So I provided them a training video, training documentation, and then I provided some time for them to kind of run the practice items so they can run through. So basically, that's just as far as I got. I just got as far as the practice items, and the communication back and forth and making sure that they got access to the different sites that I provided, the different platforms and emails and stuff like that I provided for them. So that was my process, like in this last like week and a half or so, like that. And actually it went pretty good. The VA was able to get access to the images. They was able to get access to the third-party software, which I'll talk about in another video, because I don't want to mix videos, mix information with videos and stuff like that. I want them just to be kind of clear and precise. So I'll just leave that for the next video. But they was able to get access to everything, and they was able to get to work. And the work was okay. She did a good job with listing the items. So provided them images, and within those images, I provided a sheet, which I took a picture of, just an image of the details. So you got the listing name, you got the location of the name, you got the weight, you got the you got the weight of the object, you got the measurements of the options, you got everything, all the stuff that you needed to create a listing in eBay. I provide that. So my goal was to take pictures of an item, write down the images, write down the details of the item, measurements and all that stuff, take pictures of that, package that, and send it over to the VA so they can do the listing. The purpose of that, so that I can just stay off the computer. I can just continue to list. Continue to take images and images and take images and take images and take images, and not worrying about sitting down on a computer and uploading anything. I give that to the VA so that they can go ahead and do that part, and I can continue to do, what I need to do is move the inventory from my dev pile over to my storage. You know what I mean? To my bin. So that's what I wanted to do. So that's the whole purpose of the VA, and it's and like I said, we still just getting everything situated, but actually worked pretty good. The only issue I had was just the problems I provided. That was it. I didn't provide details on some of the items, and she couldn't go forward with those. My handwriting was just not the best, and it's not the best, so that caused the delay. Other than the issues I provided, there was no issues. She was able to get the information in. She was able to save the information. I was able to go back in, look it over, make sure everything was good, and list the items. So it's a good process. Like I said, it's in the beginning stages. At this point in time, if someone say, hey, is it a good idea to get a VA to help you with your time? Yes. If one has time, then they don't need a VA. If one, and I can see how a VA will help you go from, one level to the next, because you just have that extra hand. I'm still going to list items myself, but there will be a batch of items that I will do and send over to my VA, and then I will continue to do, um, continue to list, so that we can just get more done. So that is how I am trying to reach a goal of listing about 50 items a week while working, is to having a VA. So, um, and that's about it. So, I'll have a follow-up video on the status of listing those items. Right now, you know, we're still just kind of fine tuning everything, and eventually we'll get to that point. Obviously, there's going to just be a curve. There's going to be a learning curve, speed curve, um, um, really, yeah, learning curve. 'Cause I think it's just, it's just, I mean, if you know how to work your way around a computer, and the person that you choose should be able to. I mean, they shouldn't be on Upwork if they don't know how to work themselves around a computer. So that shouldn't be the issue. It's just speed. You know what I mean? Just speed. So getting the information down, you know what I mean? Getting the information from the images and being able to put them in, knowing where to put them, is where the learning curve comes in, the speed curve. And eventually they'll know where to put it, and they'll know where to put what, and it'll become a lot faster, for them. So as time goes on, you know, things will get faster. But anyway, so that's about it. I don't want to keep rambling. So just to recap, VA, went to Upwork. I negotiated my price. I trained them, and that was basically it. So, but what I did do prior was I did create a training video. I sent out my training video to a handful of VAs. I told them to look over the training video, and after you look over the training video, tell me if this is something you think you can do. After I looked at their parameters, I went through, um, a bunch of them. So I looked at ones who had, you know, um, data entry training or data entry experience, um, e-commerce experience, web research, stuff like that. The usual stuff that someone needs to know, just to be familiar with. If they was familiar with a computer and they rate wasn't too high, their hourly wage wasn't too high, then I considered them. So, but if anybody got back to me and said, hey, they want to negotiate the rate, or they had an issue with anything, had someone said they had an issue with their audio, done. They had an issue with anything that they came back. If they had any problem, I just said forget it. But I wound up choosing somebody because their communication back and forth actually did not even, and I know that you guys are probably gonna be like, oh, you stupid for that. I didn't have a conference call with them. I didn't speak with them. You know what I'm saying? Over the phone. I didn't. You know, I was just impressed with our communication back and forth. That was why I chose my VA that I chose. We communicated back and forth, via Upwork, just like that. It was, I can tell with her communication, she didn't have a problem with English at all. Um, no problem with English. So because she didn't have any problem, I was already impressed. I said, okay, I don't even need to bother. Um, you know, you know what I'm saying, going through, any other, verification, because she was able to communicate with me just like anybody would. So, and after you go through VAs and you communicate with them, you'll clearly see which ones have difficult communicating. You'll see that communication is kind of repetitive. Um, you know what I mean? Their vocabulary is limited. You'll start to see that, and once you see that in a VA, that's somebody you probably want to avoid, but you're going to have a problem with communication. But if someone is, you know what I mean, speaking to you just like you would speak to, you know what I'm saying, any one of your family members or any other business member here, you know, then you know it's good. And that's what I felt with the VA that I had. I mean, we had, you know, no problems communicating, so I said it's a go, and it's been good. Right now, I really need to get some time so I can provide her with the work that I said I was going to promise. Um, so, but other than that, that's it. I'm gonna sign off for this video. Don't want to make it too long. Um, if you got any questions about using Upwork, just let me know. I mean, it was pretty simple, um, and kind of, you know, self-explanatory. You log on, you see the freelancers, you create a job, you list a job. I mean, people will contact you. You can go in and search your own and send them, um, send them the job request. And I did both. So I don't know which one, how I got mine. I don't know if she contacted me because I had a listing out, a job listing out, or I chose her. But you have the option of doing both, and I would advise to do both just so you can get, better, selection. Then you want to just make sure the person communicates very well, and then you can go from there. All right. Once the person communicates very well, then you can go ahead and start figuring out if you, um, you know, want to alter the pay rate. And just because they have an hourly rate under their profile doesn't mean that you can offer what you want. That's just their requested amount. You can offer what you want to offer. Like I said, I experienced that the hourly rate was at the lowest was at $3 an hour. If you want to get it lower, and that's my cue to get off. If you want to get it lower, you can just do a fixed rate option. Just calculate how much hours that you want to, that you're gonna need this person for, divide that up, or multiply that by the time, but by the hourly rate that you want to pay somebody, and give them an assignment for X amount of days, and that's it. And that's how you get that rate down. So, but to each his own. I'm, there is, which I haven't experienced because I haven't did the hourly rate. I think there's a different platform for hourly rate. So an hourly rate, if I'm not mistaken, you get to get snapshots of the person's um, desktop, you know what I mean, periodically while they work on your project when it's an hourly rate, which is really good. And that's probably what they're, charging you for all that, all of the technology that they have, you know what I mean? But, to each his own. The stuff I provided, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. I mean, I can tell if the person lists the items or not because I can just see if they listed it. If they didn't list it, um, you just give a trial run and you see how it goes. If it goes well, then it's all good. If they completed the project that you provided, then you don't really need to go to hourly rate. But if you think you're going to have some issues with that, then maybe you need to go to hourly rate because the hourly rate gives you a little bit more view of what they're doing. I mean, I personally tell you this, I did not hire somebody on Upwork, so I have to watch them every 5 seconds. So if you got to do that, I mean, if I had to do that, then I wouldn't do it because the purpose of it is to give them the work and have them come back to me when it's done. Okay, that's it. But you got to fill it out for yourself, figure out what is best for you. You might need to do that, you might not. I might need to do that in the future, who knows? But right now I just chose the fixed rate option. It worked good for me. All right, I'm signing off. Hit me up, like my videos, and I'll try to send out more videos with some more information. All right.